So, how does a woman who might be watching this begin to recognize when she is stretching herself too thin, when she is just overburdened with stress, when she's taxing her adrenals too much? Because, as you said, we're all so busy, men and women. And women, like my wife, for example, I know are just incredibly busy with so many different facets of life going on and don't always necessarily should say, take the time to recognize, okay, I'm actually overworked, overstressed, overburdened, and I need to do something about it. What are some of the steps you advise your patients to take?
So there are many different layers to that, and I oftentimes will say we need to take a sabbatical from some of the electronics, for example, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That you don't look at them after such and such a time. So many people are still on their computers, still on their phones, still on all of these electronics. And they go on a vacation that, oh, it was so nice to be away from all that. Then we have to figure out ways to stop that.
Why is that? Why do you advise that?
Because there's a number of things that we're starting to understand is, we don't really have any science to show us that a Wi-Fi relationship and our biochemistry, I mean, we are an energetic component as a human being, and we are not 100% sure that there isn't a relationship. And am I saying that it is Wi-Fi that does this, that, and the other? No, but it's another compounding factor. If we're not eating really well, we're not eating cleanly, we've been exposed to mold, we have a lot of environment, we have mercury in our mouths, we haven't been conscientious about doing organics as much as possible. Unfortunately, all those things are layers to a problem. And when I'm seeing somebody that has hormonal dysregulation, I'm also asking them questions about how often do they use a microwave? And are you using plastics in the microwave? And how many times do they have plastic containers that they're aware of? And again, that one thing doesn't cause problems, but it's an addition to. We are starting to understand that male sperm counts have gone down pretty substantially in the last 20 years. We're seeing younger women at age 30 stop their periods going into what we call early menopause or premature ovarian failure. We're seeing that there is a relationship, unfortunately, to toxicity, and that also affects adrenals and affects hormones pretty significantly for men and for women. So back to your question is, how do we do that? We take baby steps. We start to perhaps be on the computer 1 hour earlier. We stop. We are much more aware of what are the things that we need more of in our lives and what are some of the things we need less of in our lives. And having that and doing an inventory. Learning how to do, if you don't have time, 7-7-7 breathing. You breathe, you inhale for 7, you hold for 7, you exhale for 7 times twice a day. We have to figure out a way that the norm of an 80-hour work week comes back down to, no, it's a 40-hour work week, because so many people are feeling so stressed. And what I say to my patients is, we're not going to be at the end of our life at 150 saying, I wish I'd worked more. It's more likely what we're going to say is, I wish I'd played more.
Yeah, so beautifully said. And working with people for nearly a decade now, thousands of people who have had cancer, who've overcome cancer, who currently have cancer or have died from cancer. That's one common thing that I hear again and again, is as people are faced with the inevitability of this life ending for one reason or another, priorities start to shift and really focus on, what is truly important to me. And usually that's it. It's health. It's are we enjoying life? Are we giving back? Am I spending more time with the people who matter most to me? It's not, am I adding more hours to my workday? Am I adding more dollars to my bank account necessarily? Not that those things are bad inherently, but that's typically not the questions that people are seeking. And at the same time, I always try to focus back on prevention and say, we don't have to wait until a cancer diagnosis or prognosis of 3 months left to live for whatever reason to shift our lives. We should shift our lives now because we want longevity and health and happiness and fulfillment. And what are some of the biggest lifestyle? You shared some baby steps and some things women can start doing now, which I think is wonderful. What are some of the, maybe your top 3 lifestyle shifting pieces of advice that you would share with women if they do want to prevent disease, they do want to live longer, they do want to be more fulfilled in their lives?
So I always start with diet, and food is the most powerful drug we have, and it really affects our body biochemistry, and it's our own chemistry lab, if you will. One of my friends quoted that, and I love that concept. So it's changing one's diet, understanding that if you have a food that stays on the counter for a day and it's still okay, it's not what you want. If you can't name the ingredients of your food and have trouble sounding them out, that's not a food that you want, really going back to the basics. And in my practice, if I can do that with patients and they do it, I would say 85% of the problems go away pretty substantially. And the other one is going to be finding a way to either do breathing or yoga. I'm a ballroom dancer. That's my stress releaser. Not sure what's going to happen in the world after all of the changes in terms of ballroom dancing or just kind of our lives in general. But it's finding something that you absolutely love to do every single day. It's finding times to have connections with people. So it's food, perhaps even adding some supplements unless you are getting all organic, and doing those organic as much as you can. Understanding what the toxic 12 are, which is the foods that we know you really should eat organically, and the rest of those foods perhaps not. Making sure that if you're going to be eating meat in your diet, it's grass-fed and organic as much as possible. Those things in and of themselves can make huge changes. Stopping using the microwave, or if you're going to use a microwave, use ceramic containers. And finding a time to connect with people and friends and relationships. Those are huge things that one can do in one's life to make a difference.
We hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the Health and Healing Club. This entire video, including an in-depth discussion and thoughtful and inspiring questions and answers, is available inside the Health and Healing Club, along with hundreds of hours of premium and exclusive life-changing content, practices, and holistic, natural, and integrative solutions for health and healing. You can start your free trial today at healthandhealingclub.com.